What's up, YouTube? This is DJ Kryptonite here. Um, I got a comment on some of the stuff Stepen A Smith has been talking about as of late with respect to this vaccine and how they're kind of bad mouthing Kyrie. At least specifically coming from um, Stepen A Smith. And primarily, I'm concerned with it. Again, like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of thing on my videos. I embrace all the comments and stuff like that. But ultimately, what I'm concerned about is Stepen A Smith's tone. And he talks about people need to be responsible and honest about what they're doing with respect to just commentary and just, going through life. And I think Stepen A Smith is pretty disingenuous and just is pretty much a corporate attack dog. He's actually a black voice for the corporations that ESPN supports and gets money from, like the NFL, NBA, that sort of thing. A lot of times Stepen A falls on the side of the corporations because that's what feeds his salary. And he's being a bit disingenuous when he takes these stances that I just don't quite get at times. At least from the black perspective, I guess. From a black male's perspective, I'm just concerned about his stance, and I think it's almost disingenuous when he takes these stands, especially, like I said, specifically from the Kyrie Irving thing, and he's telling him that Kyrie Irving is a selfish individual. I don't know if Kyrie Irving is selfish. He may be a bit ill-informed. He may be a conspiracy theorist. But to say that he's selfish, no, I think Kyrie Irving is a bit more of a charitable guy. He's a thoughtful guy. He tries to be intellectual type guy, but selfish, I don't think. And I think Stepen A's point is he's selfish because for some strange reason, Stepen A feels that Kyrie should stand on the way he contributed to bringing the big three together in Brooklyn. He says he's responsible for that, so he should bypass his option of getting a shot. He feels that he should just take the shot because of a game, because he, I guess, assembled the three of them in Brooklyn, so he feels that he's obligated to play. I don't know if I agree with that. That's a bit absurd. Like, because I don't know if because you were part of a big three, all of a sudden we have a pandemic, you decide not to take the shot. Now the shot is mandated in the city. Now you have to take the shot to play. Now you're gonna call this guy selfish for not taking the shot to play in the city that he's actually in. But when this team was kind of established, that city ordinance wasn't in place. So he had no intention of getting the shots. That wasn't ever in his purview, I guess. So I guess he was under the impression that this would actually go away at some point, and eventually he would play. But I think what Stepen A needs to be really honest about is he's an attack dog for the corporate side of the business, meaning he's an attack dog for ESPN. He's an attack dog for the NFL. He's an attack dog for the NBA. That's what he's in place to do. He's in place to push the narrative for the corporations, and it's fine. He's a loud, boisterous, arrogant, sometimes ignorant guy who has an opinion, and because he's loud and has this big, vast vocabulary, people tend to listen to him. And that's fine. Corporations like people who can get a lot of attention, who get followers. And that's what Stepen A gets just based off his commentary. But we should actually just read into or really be real about what Stepen A Smith is. He's an attack dog for the industry, for ESPN, NBA, NFL. He's an attack dog. Anytime he attacked Colin Kaepernick, backed up on that, he backed down on that, and then come to find out the league was wrong on that. But he backed down on that. But he was dead wrong in the water on that. Dead wrong in the water. A lot of these issues that he takes, the marijuana issue, he's saying these players should be suspended and fined and all of this sort of thing. And a lot of these cities that they play in, marijuana is legal. In fact, it's legal to the point where the federal government is not going into these cities and taking down these dispensaries or raiding dispensaries or confiscating contraband. The federal government is not doing that. So essentially, in these states where marijuana is legal, the federal government is turning a blind eye to it. So essentially, it's legal in that state. It may not be legal nationally, but federally, we're not enforcing anything. So why would you sit there and say that? I think you should have some sort of compassion or empathy towards people who are trying to do something other than taking pharmaceutical drugs. So Stepen A, he actually just sides on the side of corporate, meaning the league entities, as opposed to the players who actually run the league. Really, they generate the revenue for the league. And Stepen A has to, I think he's given a narrative that he has to take a stand on, and he puts his spin on it. And it gets the attention of the masses, and a lot of times he's just trying to convince the public to fall on the side of whatever that entity, ESPN, NFL, the NBA, wants at that time, and that's what he does. And every now and again he takes a side that's pro players, that sort of thing. But that's far and few between. But he has to have it where he's not always taking the side of corporate America, because it would look a little crazy if he does it on every issue. So he does mix it up a little bit. But for the major issues, the majority of the time he's on corporate side, ESPN, NFL, NBA side, that sort of thing. So we need to take Stepen A for what he is. He's a selfish guy. He's a character. He's a caricature of somebody who's actually trying to present news. He's really not trying to present news. He's almost like the National Enquirer. He's an opinionated individual, and he puts his own opinion and spin on certain things. So he's not really giving you the news. He's giving you the world according to Stepen A Smith, which is sometimes biased because he's getting paid by entities that's actually pushing a narrative that they are asking him to actually push forward or get the masses on the side. That way we have more I guess we're just trying to gather the masses to side with corporate. And the corporate is, like I said, NFL, ESPN, NBA. So like I said, he's an attack dog, and we need to take him for what he is. In fact, I almost call him a clown. So he's like a little clown that dances when they tell him to dance, and it's sad that he's doing that. I wish he could just stand on his own merit and really truly say what you really believe, as opposed to just saying somebody sticking a hand in your back and you just simply state what they want you to say with a twist. Because I'm not saying everything you do is verbatim what they're asking, but you definitely side with corporate America most times, and it's sad to see. When they say people are doing a soft shoe dance or Sambo type activity, that's kind of where you are, and you need to change that. But I guess you won't, because you're selfish. You're selfish. It's about the money for you, because I think you quoted, I may be getting this quote wrong, but you actually said, I wake up every morning. This is what Stepen A said. I wake up every morning trying to figure out how much money I can make for the company I work for and how I can get some of it. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot in that statement, meaning you just do whatever it takes to make money, however means necessary. And if it gets a little bit of money for you, however you got to make it, is good enough for you. So you're a clown. You're a prostitute for the industry, because ESPN ultimately has a say in a lot of these leagues, and you're one of the mouthpieces for ESPN. And these leagues are actually pumping you with information for you to put to the masses, so they can take the industry side or the corporate American side, as opposed to being empathetic or sympathetic to these players. And that's very sad. That's very sad. But anyway, that's what you do, Stepen A. You're a Sambo, and you're a dancing clown. Selfish. So for you to call Kyrie selfish for not playing in a game because he just chooses to do something in contradiction to what the leagues are requiring, but it's his choice, it's his body, his choice. You're telling him he's a selfish guy for doing that? No, I don't think he's selfish. I just think, like I said, he's misinformed, maybe. He's a bit of a conspiracy theorist, yeah, baby, but he's not a selfish guy. He's just doing something that he thinks is the right thing to do, and he doesn't want to put anything in his body. And you're essentially telling him he should to play a game. So I guess the bottom line is you're selfish because you want him to get on the floor so you can talk about sports because that's what you get paid to do. If he's not on the floor, you don't have anything to talk about. You don't, and Kyrie's not making money for the corporate side of things that you are employed by. So you're kind of disingenuous. You're a clown, Sambo. It's terrible, man. You really need to dig deep and really decide if you're going to be a hoe for the industry or you're going to, try to speak a truth at some point. You need to speak truth as opposed to having somebody stick their hand in your back and have you say what they want you to say. Anyway, DJ Kryptonite here. Deuces.